We moved into this home about 4.5 years ago, and for those 4.5 years, layout-wise, nothing has really changed. Our couch is in the same orientation, dining table where dining table goes, and I think it's time for a change. But not a drastic or quick one. To be very frank, most of our layouts and decisions on where to put stuff is based on what the house looked like when we viewed it, how they had their furniture staged, because it looked good, so we kind of just went with it. But it felt like we got probably into like the 6-month after moving in mark, where everything was kind of like placed. There was some art on the walls, but things weren't really finished, and we just kind of stopped. So you probably noticed in the background of my videos, there's random art leaning against the wall that hasn't been hung up. There are areas that clearly need an organizational solution that have not gotten an organizational solution, including my brain. So this video is an exploration of that. There are a couple areas in this lovely mid-century home that I want to finally make my own. We're gonna work on finally hanging up art. We're gonna get a new couch and figure out that whole situation. We might even get out to some vintage stores to look around too. So if that sounds fun, stick around. Also, hi, I'm Kathleen. Good to have you. Usually videos around here are about sustainable style, personal expression, creativity, and apparently bite-sized space improvements that help us feel more ourselves and at home in our homes. Okay, let's go get a couch. We've had this vintage mustardy bench in front of our fireplace for a while. And while it looks really cool, I'm pretty sure it was taken out of an office in the 60s or 70s. It's extremely uncomfortable. It's not meant for lounging. It's meant for being nervous before a meeting, I think. We've noticed this especially during this winter break that we've been having. Been wanting to get cozy and read books or play video games, and it's just impossible to do on this guy. So it just so happens that I saw that a couch that I think would fit extremely well, and it's actually one that we've been looking for a long time, probably the whole 4.5 years we've lived here, is available at a local consignment vintage furniture place at a really good price. We're gonna see if we can get them to go even lower. You're probably familiar with the Togo style furniture, those kind of rolled, almost caterpillar-esque cushion chairs and couches, and real vintage ones are extremely expensive and, quite frankly, not in my budget. But when we viewed this house before we got it, the house was staged with them and they looked so good, and a replica style that's still very nice and secondhand is available. We're gonna go check it out. I kind of hope it's not comfortable so that we don't have to buy a couch today, but also if it's comfortable, we're gonna buy a couch today. It's that simple, I guess. Merry Christmas to me. Let's go. I don't think I've ever seen a sunset like this. Really soft. Here's our clean slate starting point with this guy. Are you crooked? I don't think we're getting much better than that. As you can see, the layout is the exact same as it was. Green couch over here, coffee table in the middle. New couch replaces uncomfortable yellow couch. Now, one thing I want to avoid with styling this is like covering it with pillows and blankets and making it look too much like a beanbag chair. I just feel like this could lean very rat's nest if I'm not careful. And there's nothing wrong with that. That's just not how I want it to look, you know, especially when it's competing with the nice clean lines of that guy. So, no pillows, But I do have this vintage Sherpa that I thought might add some nice kind of warmth and coziness to a very masculine sofa. Comfy. You can barely see it, but I promise it's comfy. This new sofa is so low to the ground. It would be cool to get some sort of platform base for it to sit on. Maybe something like stainless steel chromey with a flat platform. I don't know if that exists, but that'd be cool. In the meantime, which blanket you think I should use? We've got cozy vintage blue, artsy rust. It's almost like I've never folded a blanket before. Cute, yes. Would it be crazy if we did one of these? Or are we veering towards rat's nest? This is a blanket from one of my favorite artists, Matt Houston. Very weird and cool. That'll do. Do we like this? Listen, I don't love the light that this light makes. I also don't like this thing and wish it didn't exist, and maybe it won't exist someday soon. What I'd really love is like a very slim, cool reading lamp to go right here, to kind of tuck back here and pop over and just cast light downwards. Maybe a lantern. Who would have thought? Ugh. I also thought this little stool would work well for like a side table if you have to throw your coffee over here. Well, we're not throwing our coffee in here, please. Or like your book, if for some reason this large table surface is occupied. Speaking of large table surface, let's do this. Really beautiful ceramic, I don't know if it's painted or just printed, but like falcon scene tray. Made in Japan. This thing's just been gathering dust, not being used, which seems like an affront in every way, shape, or form. So it has become our candle tray. And that's always fun to get a couple different heights going on with candles. This one for good smells. This is Hinoki Fantôme from Boy Smells. Gus actually got me the fragrance, or I guess it's a shared fragrance, the Hinoki Fantôme for Christmas. So this is just a Hinoki Fantôme kind of house now. I think the pink and the green looks super cute. 3 for ambiance, 1 for good smells. I think that's a good combination. And of course, these are from People I've Loved, who's a really cool San Francisco artist. Doesn't it just look like a little bouquet of flowers? If you're in Columbus, you can get these and a candle at Small Talk. Shameless plug. Best store in Columbus. Yeah, it's pretty freaking comfortable. Kind of smells like the flu's not open. So is this an authentic Togo couch? Now, it is still secondhand and extremely nice and gorgeous. This is the Quayside 3-seater from Manhattan Home Design, something like that. It's like a replica company. And we got it for a song, a steal of all steals. So I still feel good about it. It's so comfortable. Catch me in my rat's nest. I mean, on my super nice luxury chic sofa all day, every day. I've got a pile of books. Do you want to talk about them with me? Bet you didn't know this was lurking off screen. So listen, winter / the holidays can be kind of weird. Sometimes a little bit of a sad time. And I was having a sad day over my winter break. And I was trying to think, like, if I could do anything in the world today to brighten my mood, what would it be? You know what I came up with? I want to go get a stack of books, specifically spooky short stories from the library, and I just want to sit here and read. So that's exactly what I did. The 2 short story collections, actually 3, are Things We Lost in the Fire by Mariana Enriquez. These all take place in Argentina and are translated and have heavy themes of poverty, feminism, otherness. Really cool. Can you tell I already read it? I already read this. Now I'm reading A Long December, and I wanted to read this all in December because of the way that it is, but I didn't do that. I was on my way to, and then I realized that I don't like it very much. So this is a short story collection by Richard Chismar, and it's funny, when I looked up on Reddit, my favorite place to get book recommendations, I was looking up best short scary story anthologies. This was the top of a lot of people's lists, and I was like, wow, it's gotta be good then. I'm having a hard time with this one. I think, 1, these are more like crime, thriller, mystery short stories, and they do a good job. In some of them, there's like a little twist or something very surprising that happens. Like the first couple ones, I was like, oh. But I think I was just hoping for something a little more out there because, and this is something that I feel like I could have a whole tangent about, one of my favorite things about short stories is I feel like that's where authors get weird, where they explore the stories that they know might not appeal to a large mass audience. And I love that stuff. And I love also things that are just self-contained and small. We don't have to have a clean answer, a clean tie-up to the storyline. There's a lot of unanswered questions in short stories, which I like. This just feels a little... Sometimes they feel like the plot to a 2006 B-rate movie. And that's okay. I'm not gonna cry about it. And I'm probably gonna finish it because I keep getting suckered into, well, what if I like the next one more? What if I like the next one? There is one about a post-apocalyptic world. It's a bit, The Last of Us-y. It's called After the Bombs. I like After the Bombs. And there's a novella at the end of this called A Long December that is apparently good. So I'll make it through. But that's what I'm working my way through right now. And I'm leaving 20th Century Ghosts by Joe Hill for last, because I like Joe Hill, but I've never read his short stories. One of the lines on the back says, "The past isn't dead, it isn't even past." Whoa. So, excited to dig into that one. Also in my pile, Camp Damascus by Chuck Tingle. I've never read a Tingle Tale. This is a horror story about a conversion camp. Will this just make me mad about society? Probably. And then My Heart is a Chainsaw, a cult classic, I believe, by the author of The Only Good Indians. I feel like many people have read this book. I'm not going to explain it. I also haven't read it, so how could I explain it? I wonder if My Heart will be a chainsaw by the end of this. And then these were two just random pickups on the shelves as I was perusing. We've got The Marigold by Andrew Sullivan. This looks yucky just by the cover. I think it's a story about toxic mold, which might be a little too yucky for my tastes. I have trypophobia and mushrooms really freak me out. So we'll see. And finally, a classic. Can you believe I've never read The Handmaid's Tale? I know what it's about vaguely just because of being alive and in the culture. Man, did I just pick up a pile of books that are just gonna make me mad about the society I live in? Maybe. And finally, to finish up, I'm still reading Rhythm of War. Book 4 of the Stormlight Archive. I think last time we talked about books, I was finishing the last book, and we started listening to this on the way home from Florida. I'm still only like 30% through. And I'm hoping that this palette cleanse of a bunch of short stories will help me want to dive back into something a little more long and chewy. And new year means new book reading goals. I think my goal was to read 30 books last year, and I hit it in December, which was cool. And I'm not really precious about it. I don't really care how many books I read, but I do always want to be reading. That's more the goal. This coming year, I think I increased it by a couple books, but I don't really care because I don't even remember what my new goal is. Let me know how your reading went last year. If you read anything you loved, if you read anything you hated. I might dip a toe back into romantasy soon. So if there's any good options that you've read recently that don't have protagonists that are under the age of 18, let me know. Okay, let's dig in. We've been working hard, and I believe before our next task, we deserve a little treat. Welcome to the boulangerie. We're gonna be baking some croissants. Time to get crispy, little babies. Did I just whip up some beautiful croissant dough to magically bake? No, it's all thanks to the sponsor of today's video, Wild Grain. Thank you, Wild Grain. I've worked with Wild Grain before, and I'm so pumped to work with them again because it means delicious, baked, artisanal goods. Okay, if you aren't familiar, Wild Grain is the first bake from frozen subscription box for sourdough bread, artisanal pastries, pasta, and this This isn't run-of-the-mill, mill pun intended. Wild Grain partners with small bakers all across the country to bring delicious baked goods ready to be finished off in your home oven directly to your door. Another thing I love is that it's easy to find goods that align with your dietary needs. For example, if you're plant-based, gluten-free, or even their new protein box, Wild Grain's got you covered, which is really cool for folks who maybe can't just pop down to a beautiful fresh baked cafe and grab a loaf every day. Wow. I've never felt more like a little French country field mouse than I do at this very moment. So if you'd like to try out Wild Grain for yourself, you can check out the link in my description and use my code Kathleen to get $30 off your first box, plus free croissants for life. I know. Thanks, Wild Grain, for helping to make my life delicious and beautiful. Okay, back to the activities. About a week ago, we were looking around one of our favorite little secondhand vintage spots, and on the wall, there was a collection of lithographs from one of my favorite artists, Yoshitomo Nara. You probably recognize. He's pretty popular right now. I've been a Nara girl since high school, okay? Not like it's a competition. Anyways, that was the first time I'd ever seen prints in the wild. They're not originals, because those would be like $60,000 a pop, probably. Anyways, at the time, there was a whole collection, and I couldn't decide, and they're not cheap, so I was like, I don't want to make this decision willy-nilly. And now, over a week later, I want to go back, see if they're still there, and pull the trigger. I kind of want to make an offer for all of them, do a little bulk deal. This could be a very expensive trip, but also they could not be there. Either way, it will be as it's meant to be. Let's go look. The Temporium is closing. It's owned by a guy named Tim. Is this a planter? Oh my gosh. Moment of truth. There are more. Okay, the ones I really liked are not here anymore. But that one's new. And that one's new. These are the other ones. This one was here last time and I did quite like it. I mean, they're in the drum, you know? This one's a little too spooky for my liking. Here's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna go see if that owner of that area has any more that aren't up yet, and we can go from there. So I'm not super in love with any of those. Okay. While I'm here, we also have some other things to look for, specifically 2 lamps. One for my kitchen, one for my living room. Wow, this is cool. It looks like it almost has like rollerblade wheels on it. That's crazy. I feel like this would be the perfect little side table. Style of Tony Paul. I feel like I could like make that, right? Little wooden feet. Welcome to my upstairs hallway. Probably the least utilized space in this entire house. And there's something to be said about, I don't know, a lightly designed space, a little bit of minimalism. There's a deer out there. But I think the least we could do would be to add a little bit of art to this literal gallery wall. If that's not a gallery wall waiting for art, I don't know what is. And when we first moved into this house, that was exactly our plan. And we do have a little Mark Rothko San Francisco Museum of Art, modern art print at the end, because our idea was to get really large artwork from places we loved as souvenirs on trips to make it a little bit meaningful. Have we done anything except for that first print? No. I think it's about time, 4 years later, that we changed that. And that isn't to say we haven't been collecting the art, because we have been. That's very close to my face. We have, I think, enough artwork to complete this entire gallery wall that's just sitting in a jumble, an artwork jumble. Let me show you what we're working with. Gotten so used to these streamers hanging from the ceiling, I totally forgot they were even here. It was Gus's birthday. It was casino themed. Okay, hold on. I'll be right back. San Francisco. Festival 92. Sanibel Island. Is that it? Just 3? For some reason I thought I had like 12 pieces of big art just hiding in my house. But no, it's just 3. And I think for this expanse, we're looking at least 5 pieces to complete the collection. So our question today is, do we just hang up 3 equally spaced and then just change it all when I find more art? Or do I leave space for future art? What do you think? Peaceful sleeping deer? I don't think peaceful sleeping deer troubles himself with these types of mortal issues. And that's cool. That's class. Oh, did I wake you up? I'm sorry. Okay, but what about my problems though? Contemplate those while we clean these dirty ass frames. Oopsies, covered in spiders. Sorry me. Cleaned up pretty nicely, but this one, she's a little grungy. And I remember it was like this when I found it. I think it was at a thrift store. It's been so long, I don't even remember what kind of secondhand environment it was, but I remember seeing like some smooges on the mat, and I was like, that's on the glass, that'll be easy to clean. It may be on the glass, but if it is on the other side of the glass. What kind of frame is this? Thrift store, $8.98. Oh, there's a living spider right in front of me. Sorry. My question is, do I hang it up with everything else and then take it down and take it apart and clean it and put it back up? Or do I do that first? Delayed gratification isn't exactly my cup of tea. Do I even want to hang this up with these, because it is quite a bit smaller than the other 2. It's also a lot darker. Like, look at this. High contrast. Black and white. And this is like washi. And that's soft and pastel-y. Am I just making excuses to not have to take this frame apart? Maybe. Just realized something so crazy. What the heck? I thrifted this vintage Sanibel Jazz Festival print when we were in Sanibel vacationing a couple years ago. I just looked on the back. It was framed in Columbus, Ohio, which is where I live. Are you an angel? Whoa. Thrift gods are funny like that sometimes. Listen, spider, ma'am, I don't care where you go. You could go anywhere. You just can't stay here. And I would prefer not to touch you. I bet you'd prefer that too. Please, move away. Do not come to my house. Oh, why is this sticky? Here's the good thing. Upon further inspection, I do see that there are 3 equidistant holes already in the wall. So we could at least test how these look, and then maybe come back to it a different day when I want to actually take this frame apart, or when I find more art. Okay, we're cooking, and I didn't even have to try that hard. My favorite type of cooking. Just like 2. Well, since the hole's already there, let's try 3. I think I just like 2. What do you think? It doesn't help that this one's 4 inches higher than the other 2. I just can't help but feel like this guy is the odd one out, just content-wise. Would I even like it if it was lower? Do you like it when it's lower? Imagine I'm not here. Well, this is good. This is good for now. I'm not going to force it. This hallway's been empty for 4 years. It can stay a little bit empty for a little bit longer. And that also means we get to go hunting for art together. I think we've talked about this before, but my grand plan for this hallway is something a little cozier. Not cluttered, but it's really not a space that we spend time in. We're always walking through it, so I wanted it to be nice visually to look at, not super functional. For example, I love the idea of having a little tiny shallow shelf, like one continuous piece that is probably only 6 inches deep, that goes the entire way, maybe 8 inches, that we could put like a little succulent on, a little jade plant, some trinkets, a couple books. Maybe it could be the single bookcase in our house, because I don't know if you've noticed, don't really have a lot of books here. That's probably my most toxic trait, is that I don't like owning tons of books. As someone who loves to read, I don't know what's wrong with me. Too many cross-country moves, I think. I just thought that'd be really cool. And it kind of also reminds me of like traditional Japanese houses, how they have those long hallways that kind of go around the perimeter of the home, and what kind of really beautiful, simple craft items that they have on display there. I also think one really long runner would be awesome. And maybe a pair of binoculars that just sit on a hook. There's no people to creep on. I'm not creeping on people, I'm just creeping on deer and owls. I think that's okay. Is that okay? I'm gonna say that's okay. If you have any other ideas for quirky little design features to use in this hallway, what if we did a railroad along the top? Have you guys ever seen those? The trains that go along the top? That would be cool. That would be cool. Let me know if you have any other ideas. But for now, this feels simple, and it feels really good to do something fresh in this house after 4 or 5 years. And after having this artwork for years as well, just waiting for me to get up the gumption, get the spark, to not even put holes in the walls, because there's already holes in the walls. Just put hooks in a pre-drilled hole and hang it up. Really wasn't that hard. One of my favorite sayings, isn't it crazy how things get done if you just do them? So let's go do another thing. I think to finish out, I wanted to walk around and show some other areas that I would like to revamp in upcoming videos. I really like this idea of steering away from the entire room or home makeover, because that's just not realistic, but leaning more towards little areas that we could work on together. One step at a time, you know? Back to that whole idea of it's crazy how if you just do things, things will get done. Let's keep it going. Starting with this coffee tea station is exceptionally crazy right now because we have a bunch of clean dishes. So we kind of just shoved everything over here. This should not look like this. This should be some sort of beautiful wooden shelf, some canisters of beans, coffee beans, preferably. It shouldn't be this, whatever this is. Actually, I'm gonna tidy this up real quick. It's still gonna be bad, but it'll be a better picture. That's somewhat better, but still not great. But wouldn't it be fun to thrift some little shelves together, some little canisters, maybe find a secondhand espresso machine? That's kind of my boss fight at the end of this coffee station, is to get an espresso machine and actually get good at making it. That would be fun. Picture this. Imagine how pleasing to the eye this would be if I were to swing back this door and there were just beautiful partitions, organization, vintage bowls and baskets for organizing things. That's not what's happening here, but it could be and it should be, so maybe we can work on that together. I do love these guys though. And we do have a guest room, and I don't think I'm actually going to show you this because it's crazy and stupid right now. I've been kicking around the idea that maybe we don't need a bed out all the time in there. Maybe we could perhaps get a folding or futon or Murphy situation and then have more space for crafts and things. Working on larger projects. That's a big idea for the near future or just the normal future. But for now, I think I can settle with having some art on the wall that's been begging to be hung up for years. Even if there's still a big hole in the middle. That's okay. It's a reminder of things to come, hopefully soon. So let's you and me go looking for some art soon. I'll be back with another video. If you'd like to hang out during the week between videos, you can do that on Instagram, Kathleen Illustrated. And I really appreciate you hanging out with me this week. I know it was very chill, kind of just bopping around the house. That's kind of what I needed as this new year is getting into the swing of things. Hope you're taking care of yourself. Hope you're being nice to yourself, or else. Where's my pinky out? And I love you. Okay, bye.